Hi, my name is Jenna and today I'm here to do my January wrap up for 2021. I read 3 books this month and I mean, it's not that bad. My Goodreads goal is 52 books for the year, so I really need to be reading like 1 book per week. And technically one of the books that I read is like a story that's part of a larger book that didn't even count on Goodreads. On Goodreads I think I'm already like 3 books behind, so you know, such fun times. As I said in my December wrap up video of my January TBR, I think it was, I'm no longer doing TBRs this year, so this is literally just a wrap up and then I will be reading whatever come February and I'm really excited about it. So the first book that I read in January was Holding Up the Universe by Jenna and Niven. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. So this book follows a girl named Libby. She used to be America's fattest teen who had to be cut out of her house. However, she has spent the last couple of years being homeschooled and she has been learning to be more healthy, more comfortable in herself, and now she's finally ready to return to school. It also follows a boy named Jack. He has a condition which means he is not able to recognize faces. I can't pronounce exactly what the condition is, but it is a medical condition where you can see people's faces, but as soon as you look away from them, you immediately forget what they look like. So obviously that causes Jack a myriad of problems, and he and Libby both end up meeting and they sort of form this connection because they have things that they need to work through. So I give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked this one slightly more than All the Bright Places, but I still didn't love this one. I think that it definitely had more potential, but once again, the characters were just so flat and meh, and they didn't have a lot else going on for them apart from their actual conditions that they had, and I don't love that. I'd prefer for characters to be a little more well-rounded, not completely defined by the one character trait that makes them a little bit out there. I also didn't think that the secondary characters were all that well fleshed out, and the actual story of the book, there wasn't really one. And I also really have an issue with the idea that like love fixes everything, because that's sort of the message that this book was portraying, and that's not totally accurate. Like, you have to work on yourself in order to be able to be in a relationship. You have to be happy with yourself, and I just don't know if the 2 characters got to that point. Like I said, I did like this one slightly more, and I don't know if I'm gonna attempt anything further from this author because the 2 things I've read so far I've not been totally enamored with, so I think that I might not be a Jennifer Niven fan, which, if we're being perfectly honest, is unsurprising considering she writes contemporaries and we all know how I feel about those. The second book that I read in January was Frankie by Shivaun Plozza. I also gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I believe this one is a Love Oz YA contemporary novel, and it follows a girl named Frankie. She gets into a lot of trouble and she's currently on suspension from high school because she punched a boy in the face, but she won't tell anybody why she did it. Her half-brother, who she never knew existed, shows up, and when he goes missing and she was one of the last people to see him alive, she's sort of drawn into this world of trying to figure out what happened to her brother. I really disliked Frankie as a character. I thought she was incredibly selfish, annoying, terrible, all around just a really bad person, and the idea behind the mystery with the brother was kind of cool, but it also came to a very obvious and kind of disappointing conclusion. And throughout the whole book, I'm still not convinced that Frankie really changed from one end of the novel to the other, and honestly I just felt really bad for her aunt the whole time. Her aunt took her in when she was really young. Her mum like left her at a zoo, I think it was, and her aunt took her in, and she's basically treated her aunt like garbage for this entire time. And I'm sort of sitting here like, the woman literally took you in and stopped you from going into foster care. Why are you always treating her like garbage and just being the actual worst person? So I don't know, it wasn't a bad book. I just really think it definitely wasn't the book for me, but once again, it's a contemporary and I really struggle with those. And then the final book that I read in the month of January was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I gave this one also a 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't a particularly great reading month. It was just kind of meh. So I did not read the full 5-book bind-up. I only read the first book, which follows Arthur Dent, who his house is going to be knocked down one morning, but that is the least of his problems. He is friends with this guy called Ford Prefect, who they hitch a ride with the Vogons after their planet is destroyed. And from there, it is chaotic and wild, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but there are some funny parts. The book reads kind of like a travel guide, but also kind of not, because there are just all these random facts that just keep popping up in the middle of the novel, and you're sort of like, but why do I need to know this? Like, why am I reading this? I just want to get back to the story, but once again, there wasn't much story there. None of the characters really made a lot of sense, and I wasn't super enamored with the story. The best character in this entire storyline in the first book was Marvin, and there wasn't nearly enough of him. So if in further novels Marvin becomes a much bigger character, I think I'll enjoy that a lot more, but altogether the book wasn't great. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and I actually left feeling kind of a little bit disappointed. And there you go, that is the 3 books that I read in the month of January. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what books you read this month, because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. See you random. Bye.